Good, brother.
Got,
Just sharing the
got you,
live real
got
quick.
you. I'm
How are
tired,
you, bro?
man. I'm tired. Doing a lot of video editing, doing a lot of networking. You know how it is.
Yeah, yo, your content output is insane. Like, not even just the quantity, but also like the diversity. Some motherfucker be making remixes to songs, green screen. Like, oh my god,
Yeah, man. I mean, I love doing it all, but I
crazy.
always want to try and keep people not like I watch my own stuff, right? So my thing is like I'm always trying to make my content always be true to the message, but have fun with it because it can get very boring. I always tell people like I'm not a
Yeah,
podcast. I'm Black Spider Guy Advice. I'm more of a personality. You know what I'm saying? I leave the
right.
podcasting to the podcasters. I have something similar to a podcast, but I wouldn't call myself that. You know what I'm saying? I would call myself just a guy just trying to be a hero helping men. And sometimes that translates into doing some podcasting work. Sometimes that translates into me doing goofy skits. It's all, a part of the same thing.
That's one of the questions too. Is how do you keep things fresh? Because content creation can get
Oh, at
mundane at
this
this point.
stage, definitely it becomes extremely mundane. I've been doing this for like 4 years, bro. So like, I mean, I'm
Mhm.
just crazy. So it being crazy allows for me to kind of like pull things out of the ether and I can just do stuff.
Mhm.
What's up, Karen? I can just do stuff. What's up? She says, that's which ones.
Yo, Spidey, I'm gonna go off for like 2 seconds. Send the questions to my email so I have them on my
Okay.
laptop. Take my 2 seconds.
That's hard body, soul. People say crazy. I say creative. Well, creativity is craziness in a different form. King Rolls, Blizzy Banga. What's up, everybody? Mark. He had to go off and do something real quick. We just got to wait for him to fix his network. Hey, what's up, Dawn? How you doing, Dawn? How's life? Oh,
All right, we're back on. I think Gerard's having some issues. He might be a little
got you,
late, but
got
he's
you,
coming on.
got you,
All right, man. Let's get started. Hard Body Boy podcast. I'm in a different location today. I'm at the crib.
got
I'm
you.
not in the studio. I didn't feel like we're here today. My guy Black Spider Guy Advice. You also got Gerard, Madhouse Muscle coming on, and it's gonna be a good jump. The topic, we got a few topics today, man. Some good topics too, and I got a clip I want to play later on. I'm not sure if I can play it with this live
Got
duo,
you.
but I'm trying to figure it out. So, start off. Go ahead, introduce yourself. Say your name, who you are, what you do,
Well,
and
I mean,
any
I'm
important
Black
information that you
Spider
know.
Guy Advice. I'm a hero for men, just trying to help anybody that I can who's been having issues trying to be a man in our society today, and also dealing with what's going on as far as feminism and the dating market. Also trying to help men when it comes to finances and also health as well. Anything that can help men kind of strengthen what they are.
Yeah, I think that's like the three main pillars in the space.
Oh
It's
yeah.
women, finances, and fitness, and everything else falls in line once you get those three
Mm-hmm.
things somewhat under
100%.
control.
And I feel like everybody does it in their own unique way.
Yeah. So, what got you into
I would
networking?
say about what 4 years ago, there was a couple of things. There was number one, there was the Kill All Men movement, where you had basically women saying that all men need to be eradicated, and they were trying to explain very adamantly that it didn't mean all men, that it meant some men, but some. If you said some men, you would have used it in your wording. You said all men, and it was just a huge fight. The hashtag got over like what? 100 million shares, 100 million likes. Girls were really liking it. Girls were really on it. And I kind of got tired of the rhetoric I was just seeing online, or just the hate in general of what men were doing and what men are trying to do. And I think from there, that's when you started seeing a more radicalized version of what we're seeing today, with what feminism is today. Because you didn't have drill follow back then just yet. You know, she wasn't there just yet. But I think it was during that time period that a lot of those drill follow types started coming out.
So once you got into the space and started making content, I know for me personally, it started with just
Right.
like men and women and like dating. Then I realized there's a bigger picture, and men and women are just like the start. What were some things you learned as you got into the space and as you
So in the beginning, I
got
mean,
more
it
information?
always starts off with you're like, you're trying to understand female nature, you're trying to help men with women. It starts off with that, obviously, but then it kind of translates into like we were saying a bit earlier, finances, was it finances, fitness, and just overall mental health. You know what I'm saying? So in the beginning, for me, it was more of like debunking, trying to debunk all the craziness out there that girls were saying about men. But that translated into more of, okay, we're debunking, but there's another aspect, and then you start discovering other things that need to be talked about. You know?
Yeah, I agree. For me, it was like it's like I realized once you conquer women, you can kind of conquer everything else because how you deal with women is how you deal with life's problems. And we kind of had things backwards. We kind of had like I realized like once you focus on self and get your physique discipline and certain habits in place, at least throughout the month, throughout the year, then everything else kind of just falls in line. So when you started making content in this space, what are some struggles you had? Because we talked about earlier how it gets mundane or how I know for me personally it gets frustrating. Like you're constantly arguing with people and constantly like being combative and because I got the podcast and it's live. Even in the comment section, I'm constantly going back and forth. And there's some days where I just don't feel like fucking doing it. I don't feel like doing the podcast. I feel like just chilling. I don't feel like talking about it. So what about you? What are some things that you
So I
struggled
mean,
with?
I've struggled with people trying to understand my message with me wearing a mask. That's definitely been one of the things, because people will constantly bring that about. Well, what does the mask have to do with what you're saying? And I have to constantly tell them, well, look, man, it's anonymity, but also it's the guise, the gag, the gimmick. But it's just how I want to do things, and just accept that. But also number two, like you said, the back and forth, the debating, I actually enjoy that. I really do enjoy battling people. I enjoy people trying to destroy me, because at my core, I'm very solid. So when people really try to dig, all you're going to find is more steel. But I enjoy the battle of wills, the battle of whose logic is more superior. Um, but like you said, though, it does become mundane. There are times where I'm just like, I don't feel like doing this. I'm bored. I don't make a lot of money. I only make anything if somebody donates. So there's no financial incentive, really. But what is an incentive is when I get that message from somebody saying, yo, bro, thank you. You changed my life. Or, I really appreciate you, Spidey. Thank you for saying that. It's when I get messages like that that make me think, you know what? I may not be making a lot doing this. I may be bored even, but this is helping somebody. And the fact that I'm making an
Mm-hmm.
impact really motivates me to keep pushing. And also my father too. Just my dad always said, if you want to be successful at something, keep grinding no matter what until something happens. So even though that's crazy, right? Because basically you're kind of getting the same results. Like it's not growing, nothing's happening. It's almost like expecting it's the definition of insanity. You still do it anyway. You do it anyway because, I feel like in order to get millionaire results, you got to do millionaire work. And so that's just me thinking in my head, if I just keep grinding, eventually something will happen.
Yeah, I think that's like a common theme with like content creation in general. Because you told me earlier, you've been making content online like outside of the Black Spider Guy stuff, and I told you also had a TikTok account. So like having to do that for like 2-3 years straight and doing the same shit. Like once you find something that works, you kind of have to keep doing it to keep growing efficiently, and you might get fucking sick of it. But like you said, it's worth it when you realize. Like for me, I'll see young guys that I know personally either come to the podcast or that I know as friends or whatever, or they would DM me and say, I'm having issues with so and so, and what's your advice on this? Or like you mentioned this earlier, that kind of made my past situation make sense. I actually have an example that I'm gonna pull up later on from some guy that DM me, and I'll ask for your opinion on that. But I think that's what makes it like worth it. That's what like kind of gives you that
No,
second win.
100%. Again, like I've been making videos forever, but like you said, once you find your niche, you kind of have to stay grounded in that niche. I'm fortunate that, and this is kind of the reason why I started off the way I did. I can be goofy with my content, right? I can kind of be silly, and that's a part of my character. It's a part of who I am. So it allows for me to do things that maybe other people in this space can't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in this space, they're looking at a camera, or they got to talk to a girl, or they got to, go out and do something. But with me, with how I am, with my goofiness and my silliness, that allows for me to kind of not have to stick to the status quo of this space and be goofy with it, which makes it a lot more entertaining. And I think it's a lot more difficult with people who have to kind of give off that masculine bravado to kind of keep growing. Whereas with me, it's like, I'm fit, I'm strong, but that's not what I'm focusing on.
Yeah. I think you should do more fitness content. I was thinking about that myself. I was thinking about how to be cohesive, but I think like that be really beneficial for
No,
your audience.
definitely. People have been telling me I should do more fitness because when people do see my physique, they're like, oh my God. But I'm just like, I don't want to take away too much of the focus from what I'm trying to say onto my physicality. Because I already got people trying to simp for me, and it's kind of weird. Not gonna lie.
I mean, not even reality. It could be like, back day, like with your back day routine and your shoulders or
Not
whatever it
definitely.
is, some like, or like,
Definitely, but at the same time, the gym is kind of like my own. It's my me time. So it's like I don't want to take too much of my me time and put it into this because I already give like almost 24 hours to this. So I kind of
so
got to give myself some time to myself, and that's where the gym is.
that. So, what are some of the most common questions you get in your DMs from your followers? Or
I
common
want a
issues?
girlfriend. Obviously, that's one of them. I want a girlfriend. Um, how can I be mentally stronger? And that kind of leads into the whole wanting confidence thing. And then also like, I don't have a purpose. A lot of dudes are like, I don't have a purpose. Like I don't know what to do with
Okay.
myself. How can I find out what's going to work for me? Stuff like that.
What do you say to
So the
that?
first one, I need a girlfriend. I always tell dudes like, number one, you need to get to a point where you don't really want a girlfriend. Um, I've come to find that,
Mm,
when I was not really getting women when I first started out, I always wanted a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. I want a girlfriend. But you realize that a girlfriend isn't, as time goes on and you experience women, you start to realize a girlfriend isn't really like something that's a physical thing. It's more of a thing that's like, does this woman give a fuck about me? Does this woman keep me in check? Does this woman, at the end of the day, want to support me in a sense that not only does it benefit her, but it benefits me? And you start realizing that a girlfriend is a lot more than just somebody that's making you feel good in the bedroom. It's it's somebody that's an actual partner. She's there not just as a sexual release, but she's a partner to you. She's your supporter. She's your background checker. And you don't really learn that until after you've had multiple women in your life and you've kind of gotten the lust part out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like I've completely gotten that out of my system because I've experienced enough women to where it's just like you start to realize that there are certain things that are more important. And so when I meet dudes that tell me, "Oh, I need a woman right now," it's like, bro, like calm down. It's not even that serious. You really need to figure out what you are as a man first before you even get to that level. You know what I mean? Because
I agree with that. But like J. Cole said, until you get it, how could you really know? Like it's hard to kind of instill your level of experience on someone who's not experienced.
you're not wrong.
So I guess I guess they kind of would have to
No,
go through the
definitely, but like
motions.
you also try to guide
Like,
them through the motions, right? Like guys would be like, "Yo, man, I'm talking to this girl. What should I do?" And I'm just like, "Bro, just be yourself. You know, if she doesn't like you for you, then you really shouldn't be there anyway." You know what I'm saying? But to the second thing, which I was talking about as far as like purpose, you know, I tell dudes all the time, I did 17,000 different things before I figured out what really worked with me. You know what I mean? I was in the military, I went to college. You know, I worked in laboratories, I worked in universities, but, you know, I made sure to do everything that I thought I would like until something really stuck with me. And once I found that, I doubled down on that, and boom, I found my purpose. And the same thing with this too. It's like, you know, I had like 100 different YouTube channels before that first one took off. I had several different names before this one took off. I had several different mask ideas before this one took off. But it's really just trial and error. And unfortunately, a lot of people want just that golden ticket immediately, and they don't understand that it really isn't a golden ticket. I mean, if I were to show you my desk right now, I've got a notebook full of thousands of different ideas from 2017 till now. You know, so it's just like, it's difficult. And I don't think everybody this is going to sound kind of messed up, but not everybody is supposed to be at the top. Personally speaking, not everybody's supposed to be the fastest runner. Not everybody's supposed to be the champion boxer. Not everybody's supposed to be the next J. Cole or the next Malcolm X. I think those are places that, you know, the universe puts certain people at. You know, a lot of people are striving so much for this ideal when where they're at currently might actually be where they're supposed to be. You know, when I first started doing this, I was wearing red and I was wearing black. And I was kind of stuck in that space for a while where I wasn't really growing and I was unsure as to what I really wanted to do. And it wasn't until I made a couple of different changes while still being in that space for a year that I finally realized what I needed to do. Some of us need to kind of be in a rut for a year, in a rut for maybe a couple of years until you really figure out where you need to be. There isn't really a magic that's going to make you another spider guy or another hard body boy or another fresh and fit. Maybe that's not what you're supposed to do. You know, what you need to do is find where your limit is. And then I really feel like the universe, God, whatever it may be, is going to show you where you need to go next.
I agree with that, and I think I've experienced that same situation. Like you said, don't rush where you're at. Enjoy your current position. Don't worry about like rushing to get where you need to go. I think when I was
You're still
young, like 21, 22,
young.
well, younger, still young, 21, 22. Yeah. I always had this feeling of like I was running out of time. Like you're seeing all these young guys my age, like 21, 20,
Oh, yeah.
making millions off of crypto, doing dropshipping, doing this, doing that, having Lambos, and I'm seeing they ads and saying like, yo, if you want to get this Ferrari like me, I'm 17 years old. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing wrong? What is going on? And I kept thinking like, either I'm doing something wrong or I'm going too slow. I gotta hurry up. It wasn't until I turned 26 and I realized, or 25 actually, I realized it's a not a sprint. It's a long distance thing. Like we have time, and we're supposed to take our time. Like I'm thinking now, 10 years, like give myself a 10-year window versus like I gotta do it by next year. Like this is the year. You know, every New Year.
No, in fact, it's similar.
It's, like,
it's similar to, you know, like for example, I've gone viral like several times, right? And people were like, "Yo, man, you got to keep tracing that trend." And it's like, there's a difference between somebody who's a one-hit wonder, right? And then somebody who it's like, for example, like Jay-Z or like Kendrick Lamar. You want to be something that's timeless, right? And one of the ways you do that is consistency over time. Your goal isn't to be trendy. Your goal isn't to kind of shoot out and get 1 million likes. Your goal is to be consistent, right? Like if you want vanilla ice cream has been vanilla ice cream since vanilla ice cream was invented. That shit gets boring. but everybody wants it now and then, right? At the end of the day, vanilla ice cream pretty
Yeah,
good. You can get the mixture, the blend, the blizzard. But everybody goes
be
back to
careful.
that chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla. And why is that? Because it's
Yeah,
timeless. So a lot of people want to seek this fame thing real fast. And it's like, what I've learned is, and I've seen people come into this space and then leave, start and go, and start and go, and come and disappear. And I've just been steady, steady as I go. And my
yeah,
goal is I don't care if I go viral. What I care about is at the end of the day being known. Who is that guy? Oh, that's SpiderGuy, man. That's SpiderGuy. Nah, oh, remember that one trend that happened in 2018? Remember that one trend that happened in 2030 or 2025? I don't want to be that guy. SpiderGuy been around since the start, right? You want to be timeless, and that's just going to take consistency. Like you said, time.
I agree with that. I agree with that. And you said a lot of guys get in this space and leave. I think some people get into this
Mm.
space purely for entertainment. That gets really boring really fast. Because after a while, you're like, by the third month, you're like, I'm over here fucking gathering people up just to tell jokes and talk about pussy and sex, and like, that's cool. But I think if you don't have like a genuine reason for why you're talking about this stuff,
Right.
because I talk about this shit all the time, like, all
You
the
have
fucking time.
to
So it's,
be you have to be
yeah,
passionate about this space because this space is oversaturated. I'm gonna just say it like it is. People make a podcast every minute. People make a podcast every second. And I got people, yo, be on my podcast, and I pick certain podcasts based on time and what I see in them. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of people coming into this space because everybody thinks they know some kind of trick. Everybody thinks that they know something that the other guy doesn't know, or, oh, yo, man, this is how you get women, bro. I know about money. It's like everybody knows about women. Everybody knows about money, physicality, mentality, and all of that. But it's all about how you convey it and the consistency of that. And I'll tell anybody trying to come into the space, not much money in the start of it. Don't expect to make much. And I'm in year 4, okay? And I only get donations, so don't expect. I'm not a millionaire. I'm not making zillions, thousands, or even hundreds. You know, I get a little $10, $20 here when people are generous, and I appreciate that. But to the people out here trying to come into this space making money, because I've seen a lot of women coming into this space now, right? A lot of women coming into this space. This space was originally just guys. It wasn't until maybe I would say 2 or 3 years ago you started seeing women coming in here, and they're using their ability to simp. What's up, Trav? They're using their ability to get men to simp to generate views to get revenue, and that's just the power of women. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately,
how do you feel about that? Like, I've heard a few guys say people like Pearl and kind of the female version of gentrifying the
so
space,
my
like
thing is
taking it over,
this:
and
I've met Pearl, right? Pearl's cool. You know, she's tall as shit. She cool, but she sees it as a business, and she already said that she's already rich. She doesn't need to make any money. She sees it as a business or like something that she can check off the box and say, I did. You know what I mean? But I will say this. Dudes will send me videos of girls, like, for example, his daughter or some shit. Oh, my God, these women, man, like, this is the one. Or Emily King. Oh, my God, she's our hero. And it's like, number one, they will never know. They will never know what it's like to be like you. They will never understand the struggle that you as a man have to go through. They'll never understand that. The only thing that they can do is kind of say things that we as men like or would want a woman to say. So really what you're doing is
yeah,
you're subscribing to apologetic niceties that you would want a woman to say. And she's attractive. And so because she's attractive and she's saying things you like to hear, you're like, she's the hero. She's the one. And it's like, no. because at the end of the day, let's say Pearly Things, right? She could go on OnlyFans in a day and just go right back to what it is you say is bad. Or let's take, for example, there's a woman that came into this space. She's she's a female psychologist. She's from Turkey. She's been on Pearl's show. She said that she was a feminist, and then she learned as she got older that it doesn't work, and that she wants to now be a traditional woman. I said, you can't do that. And they're like, well, why is that? And it's like, imagine somebody that hated black people their whole life, and all of a sudden they're like, you know what? I like black people now. Would you still trust them? No, you would not. So what I'm noticing is number one, girls coming into this space because they're wondering where all the men are going, because men are starting to leave dating apps. Men are starting to not date. There's been a poll that in a Pew study that said 60% of men are fine with just looking at adult content and not dating. Yeah, man, this is a Pew study.
Wow.
Look that up. So men are just kind of leaving. So girls are like, well, where are the men? Men aren't going to college as much. So girls are looking for the men. And this manosphere, if you think about it from a girl's perspective, is exactly what a girl looking for a good man would want. Because in this space, men are trying to do what? Make more money, get stronger, work on their mental health. So girls are like, oh, this is a heaven. Because this is where all the men are. All the men are trying to better themselves. I can capitalize on that. Because at the end of the day, that's a girl's what? Survival instinct. Find a man that's highly viable, utilize him to gather resources and protect. That is 100% built into each and every one of them, no matter if it's Pearly Things or his daughter. And a lot of guys forget that and lose masculine frame because they see a fat butt and a cute face. And I tell dudes all the time, the reason why I can meet Pearl or meet Tay-Tay and not get starstruck is because at the end of the day, what my father always says rings true. She's a woman, bro. And that's not a sexist thing to say. That's not me saying that they're lower than me or anything. It's that I understand what they are always looking for in me. Women are always expecting a certain thing from out of me because I am a man. And we as men tend to forget this because she's got cute face and she's saying nice things, but she's still a girl, dude. She still benefits from your simping. She still benefits from you giving her energy. She's still benefiting like the other girls are. The only difference is she's captivating your mind and your lust, not just your lust. So you're giving her more credit. But that's all it is. And like you said, unfortunately, Pearl is the head of this, right? She's the head of this manosphere. She's got what, 1.3 million followers or something. And then you've got Fresh and Fit and Abba and Preach. But this is what happens, and I really do think this is why the world is the way it is now. Because men kept saying, okay, constantly, to the point where now we're losing our balls in a bag because men keep saying, okay. And it's like, I told a girl one time, this space was originally created because men didn't feel like they had any place to go. That's why this place was made. It wasn't made because we wanted to have girls coming in here saying nice shit to us like we're children given candy. This space was created because men wanted to figure out female nature. They wanted to understand why what they were doing wasn't working. So they came together with other men and started exchanging notes. That's what this originally started as. And then like anything, it evolved and then it became lucrative. And what happens when things become lucrative? Girls show up. When there's money to be made, girls show up. that it wasn't until this became popular. It wasn't until you saw Future having Kevin Samuels in one of his music videos that all of a sudden, wait a minute, this can get me money, this can get me fame, and what do girls chase? Status. So what are they going to do? They're going to come into this space. They're going to grow rapidly because men in this space are hungry for what? Women. Female attention. It's the greatest, if I was a woman, it's the greatest sales pitch ever. I am the thing that is wanted. So I'm going to go to the space that wants me the most, that wants to understand me the best.
Yep.
And what better place to plant my feet than the manosphere? Makes perfect sense. But see, a lot of men are not aware of that because they didn't exist in this space before women were in it. See, I existed in this space before women were in it. You know what I'm saying? I remember when this was a space where girls were, and I mean all girls, were trashing any man that stepped foot in it. You had dudes secretly watching Steph. Steph is cold. Oh, I can't tell my girlfriend I'm watching Steph is cold. Because if I tell her I'm watching Steph is cold, she's going to leave me. I remember people saying that. Steph is cold used to be, because he was here before Kevin Samuels. He used to be the thing that everybody watched. And then you started having a domino effect of everybody watching. These new people started coming out. Then you had Fresh and Fit and ABBA. And Steph sadly started getting less views because now you had a whole space of these people. And now I believe we're in the second wave of the red pill manosphere space, where now you've got little guys, you know what I'm saying? Little guys like you and I trying to fight for the spot at the top, where we're trying to spread our message in our own unique ways. But, you know, we're in the second wave of red pill, where now you've got women in this space. Because see, what women have now started to understand is that being completely feminist actually negatively impacts them, because they don't necessarily want to work, right? They don't necessarily want to be a bad bee for too long, because men don't pay attention to that anymore. Men don't care. So what do girls do? Well, they figure out what men do care about and they maximize on that to get attention, right? So they're learning about red pill. I got a couple of women that follow me, tell me all the time, SpiderGuy, thank you for teaching me about this. Why would they want to know about this? Because the more they know about this space, the better prepared they are to deal with the man that might know about this stuff. See, it's all still happening in HD. And this is why it's important for men to hold their masculine frame at all times. Because you might say something from Kevin Samuels and your girl go, oh, well, I watched that episode. And you're going to go, whoa. Now you're going to think this girl is high value, not realizing all the red flags she's got going behind you. Because she knows that if she says that to you, you're going to think, oh, man, this is a good woman. See, it's all the game.
Okay, so I'll say this. I partially agree with that. I do think though it is important to have girls like Pearl in this space, because it kind of
Right.
girls listen to girls more. Like, you know, they say it's not what you say, it's how you say it, but I think it's also who says it. Even at my podcast, I have a girl with me, and I have like 4 girls in the room. And they'll all be arguing. The second one girl says, no, he's right. They kind of all say,
Sisterhood.
oh, yeah, for no reason. Yeah. So I think having like an inside agent,
See, the thing with that is
beneficial. But
I agree. You need you.
how is it, though, like between someone that's legit and
But
someone
see,
that's
the issue is not women in the space. It's how the women in the space are utilized, right? Because you've got girls coming into this space advocating like men do, acting as if they've lived the life of men, right? That's not how girls in this space should act. Girls in this space should talk to other girls, and when it comes to men speaking, should support those men. That's a traditional thing. This space promotes traditionalism, right? So if that's the case, then those girls coming into this space should also be an image of traditionalism, or at least emulate that traditional role, where the men advocate for the men, the females talk to the women about what men talk about, and when men speak, they support those men. That would be a better way to
Interesting.
do it. But see, what's happening is girls are coming into this space and they're acting like they're you and I. Well, I know how that feels, man. Like, it's like, no, you don't. What they'll do is they'll say, well, I had a father. I had a brother. I have a male best friend. And because I've experienced or lived with them, I have an idea of how I can help you. It's like, you're not me, though. You're still not me. You're not your dad. You're not your best friend. You're not the male cousin. You're not that guy. So you can't really advocate or understand because you live in a completely different perceived world. Your world is different. So when dudes tell me, oh, SpiderGuy, man, you know, this girl in this space, I'm like, bro, she has no idea how it is to be a man that gets no women. Because her DMs are full, bro. Her DMs are full, and she's talking to you about, it's okay, you'll find the right one. Bro, she doesn't have to search like you. She doesn't have to know game like you. She doesn't have to try and build up her body like you. She don't gotta have a good job like you. She don't gotta support the family like you. She doesn't have to try and understand emotions and try to gap between bipolarism and schizophrenia like you. She doesn't have to try to play that game. She never has to. She's valued for a different thing completely. So when dudes will come into this space and tell me, yo, man, isn't she awesome? Like, she's a great woman. Yes, she has empathy. That's fantastic. But she cannot advocate like me or like you because she's never lived that experience. She's never suffered the way a male suffers in our society. She can never understand your pain because she isn't you. A lot of dudes want women to try and act like them. Why doesn't my girl understand me? She'll never understand you. Same thing can be applied to them. They'll never understand us. They say nice, sweet things. My mom says sweet things to me too. But at the end of the day, when I want to know something, guess who I'm asking? My father, because my father understands me more than my mom because my dad is a guy. That's how this works. That's why I've been able to be so quote unquote strong because I listen to my father, a man that has suffered as a black man in this society. He can give me pointers. My mom cannot. She can tell me about how to navigate women, but she cannot tell me how it is to be a black man in our society because she's never lived it. So when dudes try to bring that whole, oh, well, there's girls in the space, how do you feel about that? It's like, look, man, it's good that there's female representation saying things like you said to the women because women don't listen to men as much as they do other women. But at the end of the day, when it comes to men helping men, there's a reason why fathers not being in the home increases jail time. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're saying when it comes to the helping the men, there's only so much the woman can do. Like she can talk about what she knows, but there's only so much she can do. Like she can't really speak from experience and give like anecdotal stories about
right. That's
whatever.
Why the father is so important in the home, right? This is why the father is so important in the home. Literally look at the stats. A man being in the home with the child literally lowers that child's chances of going to prison. Why is that? Because he can teach his son how to be a man because he is one. It's very simple. But we live in a society that feels like, well, I kind of understand it, so that's enough to equate to a man's full experience. That actually disrespects us. That we think that a girl can completely understand the pain that we go through. That's disrespecting you. You're disrespecting yourself. She will never understand you, your pain, your suffering. All she can do is be there. And that is an important piece to play. That is an important job. But at the end of this is why men talk amongst men. It's not a sexist thing. It's not a hateful thing. It's us trying to better understand ourselves. And who can understand us better than us? Nobody.
Yeah, it's us trying to better understand ourselves without
Exactly.
judgment. That's the big thing. Like there's certain things that we do that you may not understand, but it like, for example, like I've noticed when you want to motivate a girl to do something to improve her life, you have to say it nicely and kindly. For a guy, you kind of
Yes.
have to like shame them into it. It's like the exact opposite. It works, and it might seem like when girls see it, it might seem like hateful or fat shaming or whatever, but it's like
Right.
that's what works. We're just different. They can understand it, but they can't really understand it because they can't
Right.
feel
Right.
it. You know, they can't
Shout out
connect
to
to that.
everybody in the chat. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Rebirth. Definitely, bro. Again, that goes down to what we are valued for. You know what I'm saying? Girls will, for example, say little D energy or big D energy, and they'll laugh about that. But then men will go, yo, why isn't that body shaming? And they'll say, no, that's not body shaming. See, because they know that how men take things is different to how women take things, right? If they were to say skinny girl energy, they wouldn't say that to each other. They would never do that to each other, but they'll do it to us. Why is that? Because girls live in a different perceived universe than what men do. Women know that men can take
Right.
it. There's a perceived idea that men can just take stuff, handle stuff, deal with stuff. Why is that? Because it's been built into them since the dawn of history. It's biological. It's built in.
Mhm.
This is why when dudes are like, I just want my girlfriend to understand why I'm in so much pain. Bro, she'll never understand you. Stop trying to find empathy out of someone who does not, to her core, live your life. Stop trying to find emotions out of your girlfriend. Your girlfriend is trying to put emotions into you. She's, she's looking for you to be that strong pillar. The girls will say, "Oh, I need a man that's emotional." Hell no, you don't. You know what an emotional man is? An abuser.
I be saying that. Yo, we was just talking about this like yesterday, I think, or on the last podcast. I'm not sure. And I was saying like girls want a guy to be emotional, but
Right,
his emotions may come out as anger. It may not be crying. It may not want that, and you can't pick and
right.
choose
And
what you want.
I
Emotion is
really
emotion.
be trying to
So
explain. I'm
yeah.
like, when a man is emotional, he is dangerous. He is a weapon. I am a living weapon, ready and able to destroy and build. I am a man. I am the first weapon of humanity. You want me to be an emotional wreck, expressing my pain and anger? Do you not know what happens? See, that's the thing. This is this whole nature versus nurture thing that's going on in our society. Society taking into account male
Facts.
biology, thinking that everybody's the same. You cannot apply the same techniques to a man that you do a boy. This is why you see little boys being told they got ADHD. He ain't got no ADHD. He need to go outside. He needs to
He's a
go
father.
outside. He needs a dad that's going to hit him in the stomach once and play fight and teach him how to build a house. That's what he needs. He needs to take that energy and put it into some kind of form, unit, give him structure. He needs a man that can hold that energy in place and say, son, this is how you do this. This is how you do that. You have this beast inside of you. Learn to harness it. That's what my father told me at the age of 10. And that's what I will tell my son if I ever have children. You are a man, a living weapon. You must learn to control yourself. School is not built to handle young men. It is built to handle women. Be polite, be quiet, stop moving, pay attention, listen, absorb information, spit it out. It is not made for a boy. That's why they're giving all these kids ADHD medicine, effing them up when they're adults. It's so much bigger than just men dating and women dating. It's a huge societal issue that's affecting all levels of life. And it really pisses me off because it all stems from us as men willing to accept certain things, not realizing it's shooting us in the foot. And people don't want to hear it from a guy with a mask, but I could really care less because this doesn't just affect you. And this doesn't just affect me. This affects my future children if I ever choose to. So you best goddamn believe me as a future father someday is going to do everything he can so that his son knows that his father did everything he could so that way he would have a good life. So he wouldn't be demonized for being a masculine man, for being a boy. I don't have a child. I may not be a father ever, but I want to be. And I think of being a dad when it comes to these things, or I at least try to put myself in that mindset. Because I would never want my son to feel bad about being a boy or being masculine or being strong. Come home and tell me that the school said being masculine is toxic. I'd lose my shit. You telling me my son can't be a man? I would pull him out of that school that damn day, figure out something. Because I'm sick of it, man. I'm tired. That's why I do this. It's not just about me. It's about the next generation of me. When I am a father someday, and that boy looks up to me, and he's looking to me for guidance, and I want him to know his father did everything he could. Everything he could to make sure the world he's living in didn't look at him like he was nothing. That he has value. Because I got kids messaging me in the DMs at age 14, 15, telling me they feel bad about just bringing up that they are a man in school. Because their school is promoting a one-way view of thinking and that everything masculine is bad. I got boys, 14, telling me I'm afraid to tell people that I'm straight. I'm afraid to tell people that I like being a masculine guy. Because I'm told that it's bad. What should I do, SpiderGuy? I got kids in high school telling me this shit in my DMs. Pisses me off. Pisses me off because I didn't have to experience that when I was in high school. Now you got kids in high school being told that being masculine is bad. Are you kidding me? What's going to happen when I have a son? I'm scared, bro. I'm scared. What's going to happen when I have a son? And they start teaching him all this shit. What am I as a father going to be able to do? I'm going to have to unprogram all this crap that the school is constantly trying to shove down his little fragile mind. I'm thinking about 20 years from now, bro. 15, 10 years from now, bro. Just like you. This is something that doesn't just affect dating. This affects children. This affects how kids perceive themselves. This affects male mental health. This affects jobs. This affects women and how they're going to be brought up. If I have a daughter, I have the schools teaching her all this stuff at 10, 3, 4 years old. And then she's going to come home with some kind of ideology that I didn't instill. So now I'm going to have to fight the government and the society, not just on the camera, but with my own children. This is something that's deep. Anybody that's thinking about being a father, this is deep shit. It's not just about us. It's about the future, the generations after us when we're dead and gone, and the message we leave behind. And we have to make sure that message is a message of strength that our generation may have fucked up in many different ways, but we tried our best to fix our fuck up. That's what we need to make sure that the future hears, that the men found out that they messed up and they tried their best to make sure the kids of the future knew it's okay to be a fucking man. It's all right to be strong. It's fine to be us. And you don't have to think that it's a negative, that it's okay to go against the machine. But you don't have to listen to what they say. Listen to yourself and listen to your heart. Be stoic. Be a man. We are the builders and destroyers of this world. Men, that is what we do. We hold it down. When the whole world burns, they look to the strong men to hold shit up. Look at any disaster. Look at Texas. Look at Tallahassee. When tornadoes run through those fucking towns, guess what happens? All the men come together and they start building houses. And the women start taking care of the kids. That's what happens. Because when shit hits the fan, all that woke shit gets thrown out the window and everybody goes back to their default settings. Everybody goes back to default settings. You put a weapon in front of somebody's face, default settings kick in. Kick in. All this and stuff goes out the window and girls start asking for a man to save them. Because at the end of the day, you cannot run away from your biology. And again, it's not about hating women or saying women aren't strong. It's about understanding the facts. This is how humanity was made to be. We have to accept that before it's too late. The country's already destroying itself. We already had a major bank fail. We're going into a recession. Okay? How many jobs we lost this year? Okay? We're having a birth crisis. We've got a possible another pandemic, whatever, coming in the future. You've got an aging working class. You've got masculinity being told it's toxic. You got a possible world war. You've got all these things going on, and you don't think men being strong is going to be needed? You're kidding me. You're kidding me.
And I always even tell like my son, do the exact opposite of that. Do everything. Like you said, schools are, I never really thought about it that way, but schools aren't really made for men, because if you think about it, even most of the teachers are women, you know? And you're trying to control this energetic young guy that wants to run around and act crazy, and he gets in trouble sometimes. You're right.
You gotta think about.
Right.
I think about this stuff because I want to be a parent someday. So I read and I study and I look at these things and I work in medicine and I see what happens in pediatrics, and a lot of the female doctors or a lot of the female nurses will be like, oh, he has ADHD. No, he doesn't. He just needs an outlet to put that primal energy somewhere. He needs to do karate. He needs to do martial arts. That's what my father did with me. They told my father that I had ADHD. You know what my father said? He said, that boy just need to go build something. So my dad put me in karate. And once I started hitting bricks and learning about discipline, all that ADHD went out the window. All that extra medicine they wanted to spoon feed me. My dad said he don't need no medicine. Thank God for my father. Thank God for my father being a stoic man. Thank God for my father telling the system, no, there's another way. Thank God for my father. To this day, that man is still stoic. That man built a fucking, a fence without directions. He built a fucking porch by just reading a book. My dad is the fixer of all things. This man is 63 years old and does everything and doesn't need anybody. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to me, the greatest article or example of what a man is my father. He got a house. He's had the same job for 30 years. He's got a family. He's been married for 38 years. This man works hard. The epitome of what a family man's supposed to be. And I feel like a lot of men need a lot more of that in their life. But I hope I'm not over talking you, because I got Abby in the chat saying some stupid shit.
No, you good. You good. I feel that though, like a father figure, I feel like it's probably the number one cure to a lot of all this bullshit going on. But let me ask you this question that this guy Andrew Sims sent me. He said, "Hey bro, serious question. Been seeing this girl for 2 months now. after text, Insta chat, and mouse games for 5 months. I'm not sure what that means. Sex is good, objectively, for us. She introduced me to her folks after 6 months and her grandma. And her grandma what? Okay. Grandma comes from a good home. She does, however, make like 15 to 20K more than me a year. Now that'll switch once I travel nursing in 2 months. We've known each other for 4 years. My concern is this. I eventually asked her out and she said she liked the idea, but she had issues with labels because of her dating history. She didn't have a hoe phase, but she was wild in her early 20s. What do you
My thing is
suggest?
this. I think that sounds like the same guy that messaged me potentially, but at the end of the day, if you want to make something official and she turned it down, think of it like, would you stay with a woman that you asked to marry you and she said no? Would you,
Right.
if you proposed to a woman, you said, I think that we need to get married, and she said, nah, I'm good. Would you stay with that woman? I wouldn't. I would leave. We have come to the very end of the relationship. I'm trying to make this into the next level. You denied that next level, so I'm gonna leave. I would, in that situation, if I'm enjoying the situation, I would start entertaining other people who might want something more serious. I might not completely end it with this girl if I'm enjoying that situation until I finally find somebody that's more serious. I would pull back my energy completely because it sounds like, she's a travel nurse. I've met travel nurses. Travel nurses, they go from one state to the next. They messing with somebody you don't know potentially. She don't want to hold it down because maybe she's seeing a doctor maybe at her hospital that's hitting on her. Maybe she thinks that she got better prospects there. That's usually what it is. Because I meet, huh?
I agree with you. I would think like she probably just fucking around with you right now, and she introduced you to her folks. I mean, that's kind of weird, but they'll do shit like that.
Oh yeah,
They'll have you thinking like you locked in. Yeah, it's not nothing new. Sorry, brother. I would drop
yeah,
her.
I would drop her too.
I'd cut her off. Yeah. So, how important are mentors to young men, and how do you suggest they go about finding the right ones?
Mentors for men are really important, especially in a society where there's barely any fathers in the home. In a society that says women can do it all, while at the same time, looking at the stats, literally there's no father in the home. You increase the chances of SA. You increase the chances of a non-successful adult. You increase the chances of criminal escapades. All those negatives increase. So it's really important for young boys with all that energy they have to focus that into something that's going to eventually elevate them into their later years. So you need male male mentors. My father actually didn't have a father. And my dad, I ask him all the time, like, Dad, how'd you get so strong? And honestly, he told me he was in the streets. My father was a gangster when he was younger. But he realized that, all that death wasn't really getting him nowhere. So he went to the military. And he said it was in the military where he found structure. It was in the military. He was in the military for like 13 years. Yeah, he was in the military for a long time. And he said it was in the military. It was in that structure, that brotherhood that helped him really understand what a man was. Because he was brought up in a single family home with just grandma and his two sisters. So he was in an all-female environment as and the only boy. But he said he would find strength in men that he felt would best emulate what a father was supposed to be. And he found that in his extended family. He found that in the men he met at school or the men that he would see walking down the street or the neighbors he had. And, my dad told me this one time, he had a neighbor who knew he was the only boy, and he would always come over and he would teach my father about like farming. He would teach my father about cars. And so, my dad really took a liking to that guy. And my dad said, like, at the end of the day, try to find small bits and pieces of strength in different men and try to kind of myriad that into one singular image and try to mimic that best you can. That's what my father would say.
So what would you say? What would you suggest as a first step to young men trying to find a mentor? Like, where would they
Um,
look?
I would say as far as like where you would look, I would say try to find look for look for the results of what those men have done, right? Like I like Henry Ford, for example. Henry Ford was a carpenter at 30, but then became the richest man in the world in his later 30s, right? It took him all the way until he was like 32, 33, until he became the Henry Ford that we know today, creating that car. You know, you've got the dude who made Kentucky Fried Chicken, took him all the way till he was in his 70s, or was it late 60s, for him to become the Colonel,
Right.
right? So my thing is look for men that all they do is grind. Where is he? He's not at the party, y'all. He's always just working in his room. That man that's always working in his room or trying to plot some kind of new invention, or that guy that's always doing that one thing all the time. That weird kid, but he knows a lot and he's always just trying to press. That guy is probably going to be that rich guy. That guy is probably going to become that inventor. That guy's probably going to become that manager. Look at Michael B. Jordan. That girl said that he was corny. Weren't you that corny kid? He was he was the corny kid. What's up, D Rose? He was that corny kid. And now look at him, right? So if Michael B. Jordan was called corny in high school, made fun of, he was that nerdy kid in high school. And now he is the epitome of what a black man, a wealthy black, young black man would be in his fame, in his prime. Find those kids that are savants. Find those kids that are called weird. Ask them what they doing. Because usually they ain't got friends. So when they don't got friends, they doing something, and they usually building something. Take me, for example. I was made fun of. You know what I was doing? I was in my room reading, building, studying. I found love in knowledge. I found love in science. I found love in mechatronics. I found love in cellular development, microbiology, physical fitness. Now I've got bullies. The bullies in high school that used to make fun of me message me on Facebook on how to get fit. You know what I'm saying? So find those nerds, man, because those nerds become those men that you wish you could be in their later years.
So to add to that, I would suggest that men seek out personal challenges in their life, and then you'll find men within these places.
Yep.
Like the easiest one is the gym. Start going to the gym. You'll find like-minded men that, you know. I found guys that box. Found guys. This one guy, he's this African guy. He's like 50 something, 60 something, and he said he was an
Oh
ex
wow.
underground fighter. He said like bare knuckle type shit. And he was fucking ripped. Now he owns like a business somewhere, and like you'll find people that what you'll find is when you go to places like the gym or
Right.
boxing or karate, whatever, you'll notice people also have that same level of discipline in other areas of life, and that's how you meet either mentors or just
No, definitely.
people to work with and collab with. So or like the internet, go online, just look up people that you may never talk to, and pay. That's a good one. Pay to talk to people you want to talk to. Pay, like even if it's like $100, $500, when you pay them, you end up getting more than you paid for because now you have a connection. Now, like
Right.
if they actually like you,
It's an
you're
investment.
locked in with them. Don't be, yeah, don't be stingy. If someone's charging for a call, pay for the call. If they're charging for a course, pay for the course. I paid people. I paid this one podcast $50 just to go out to them in
Nice.
Baltimore. It's like a 2-hour drive, just to because growing and like coming up, and I feel like they're gonna do good
Nice.
in a couple years. So it's well worth it. So I got this clip from
Right.
this podcast called Whatever, and it's about letting your girl go
Oh, I
out
know that
with
clip.
her girlfriends to like a party or whatever. So I'm gonna play it for you guys,
Got
and
you.
we'll talk about it in a second.
I want to make my wife. And I find her super attractive. Yeah. because that's what I would do. I would make her my wife.
Wait, it's the wrong
It's
one.
okay. It's all good.
Oh, it's the wrong one. Yeah. I got you. If I got it, I may not have it. Here it is. Here it is.
Why is that a deal breaker? Is it because it makes you insecure?
It has nothing to do with insecurity. It's
What
just,
is it?
This is a dream world hypothetical scenario. Girls really don't be hitting up guys like this. Would you be okay with your long-term monogamous partner going to a nightclub, bar, or party type environment where throughout the course of the night, he's going to get approached, flirted with, and sexually pursued by numerous attractive women, some of which are more attractive than you and could potentially be a better partner than you? These women are buying him drinks, getting him drunk, and enthusiastically want to sleep with him that night and steal him away from you. You're going to tell me you'd be okay with that?
No.
Right.
Crazy. So real quick, somebody commented on that, right? And they said, where's it at? They said, I can't find it right now, but they said something along the lines of, you say you're not insecure, but then you said there may be other guys that are a more suitable
Right.
partner for your girlfriend. And I'm like, that's not insecure. That's being realistic. What do you mean? Like, it'd be naive and stupid of you to think that there's nobody else in the world that could also
Right.
be just as good for your girlfriend, if not better. And also, my question to you is, what do you define as insecurity?
Everybody has
'Cause I don't think that's-
insecurity. Everybody has insecurity, right?
Mhm.
I'm afraid my abs are not as toned as they could be. That's an insecurity of mine. I'm afraid I might not have as much money as the other guy. That's an insecurity. Some girls feel like their boobs aren't big enough. That's another insecurity. Everybody has insecurities. You know, my thing is when girls use that word, oh, you're insecure. You're damn right. I'm insecure. You're damn right. And they go, well, why? I'm like, just because I'm being insecure is fine. You use it as a negative. They use it as like a tool to try and shame me. You're trying to shame me with a fact? Yes, I do not want other men
Right.
touching or trying to flirt with what is supposedly supposed to be mine. That would be like me opening the door to my house, walking away and saying, people going, oh, you're insecure if you have a security alarm on your house. Just let people walk in. You're afraid of people walking in your house and stealing your food. You're insecure. Hell yeah, I'm insecure. So I lock the frickin' door. And that keeps people from coming in my home. It's the same thing. My girl is my girl, and I'm going to protect my things, just like I am her thing. I am her man. So that's why the girls were like, no, I wouldn't want my man to be, of course, because they're insecure too. They wouldn't want to lose their man, just like you wouldn't want somebody to steal in your house. The only reason people use this word insecurity or try to put down men that are trying to protect their girls from other dudes are girls that just want to do whatever the hell they want and have no respect for traditional relationships. That's all it is. You want to go out and do whatever the hell you want, and you don't want to listen to your man. You could care less about how what you're doing makes your man feel, and you want to go out there and do some single people behavior. Because that's single people behavior. All a club has that my house doesn't have is men, and that's it. You can, if you want to hang out with your girls, you can hang out with your girls at the house. You want music, there's music at the house. You want drinks, drinks are in the house, and you don't even gotta buy that. It's in the refrigerator. So the only thing, oh, well, the atmosphere. I can't generate the atmosphere that's there. Oh, I just want but the atmosphere is what? The atmosphere is dudes thirsting to sleep with you. So that is the only reason that you want to go out there, is to be lusted for. But you're my woman. I do not, as a man, feel comfortable with what is supposedly supposed to be mine going out there, being made ready to be stolen. That's like having my heart with no ribs or flesh and skin out in the open, just walking around ready to be shot. That's foolishness. Foolishness. I am not going to allow that. And if she goes out without listening or without taking into consideration what I've said, the relationship is over. Because you're doing whatever you want without taking into consideration how it makes me feel. And a lot of dudes will just accept that. Oh, well, a girl should just what? If she's single, she can do that. If you're with me, that's a big definite no.
Mm. And like you said, they'll use the insecure word to try to silence you. But somebody commented on here. It was a DJ. And he says, as a club DJ for over 15 years, I will never, ever take a girl serious that goes clubbing or bars as a girl's night out. I have so many stories on what I see with girls that are married, have a boyfriend, or brides to be. I feel sorry for these dudes. And I'll say the same thing. I do bar mitzvahs.
Nice.
I've been doing it for like 8 years on the weekend. And I'm a dancer, not like a stripper or whatever, like a entertainment dancer. And I'll have like, there was this one moment where I was dancing on stage and this girl was with her boyfriend. She wanted to come on the floor and dance. He was kind of being, stoic or shy or whatever, too good to dance. So she's like, all right, whatever, fuck it. She came on and I started dancing with her. And I'm looking at him and he's just standing there with his drink. And I'm like, this is crazy. If she does this in front of you, imagine what she's doing when you're not around.
Exactly. If you as a man do not show any kind of strength, she will find strength in another. We are easily replaced. A lot of dudes don't understand that.
And something you can't forget is girls act different when they're around their girlfriends. It may not be like a intentional or like bad, but like they'll even start having conversations about things they wouldn't have in front of you, like what kind of guys
Well, you know
they
what it
like
is,
or
though, right?
whatever.
They're
Like,
competing.
yeah.
Girls always compete with other women to figure out who's the baddest bee of them all. It's a natural, instinctive thing they do. That's why girls don't like other girls, because they compete with one another as to who's the best or most attractive. It's instinctive. That's why they compete in battle, and that's why they talk about different things that they might not normally talk with their man, because instinctively they're being told that they need to compete. They need to compete with this girl for some fucking reason. It's so stupid, but it's biology. It's like when a man sees his crush and then a bigger, stronger man comes in the gym, and so now you got to bench press a little bit more because your testosterone just spiked because you see a guy trying to go for your woman that you feel is yours, but she isn't. It's the same thing. It's biology.
Right. Yeah, that's facts. That's facts. So on the topic of fitness, what are 3 reasons you think young men
3
should start
reasons.
hitting the
First
gym?
reason, it builds discipline. It builds discipline. You need to learn how to do something consistently, even when you don't want to keep doing it anyway. You need that. Number 2, overall health. Right? You need to be physically able to do things, have stamina, endurance. You need to make sure that, your cardiovascular system is working well. You need to make sure that your body is able to work and work and be optimal in any situation. So you need that health aspect. Number 2, that discipline aspect. And lastly, that social aspect. I feel like when you go to the gym, you're meeting people, you're talking to people, you're meeting girls, you're seeing women, you're working out, you're trying to work on your best form. Definitely, I feel it helps build that social aspect that a lot of guys maybe coming out of high school wouldn't necessarily have in high school. College, when I started going to the gym more often, definitely helped me break out of my social barriers because I was meeting people from all over that wanted to work out.
I agree with that. Definitely big on the discipline part. It makes other tasks in your life kind of seem easier to do. It makes and like you said, it builds that muscle in your head that gives you the ability to push through what you don't want to do. And also, when you realize after 6 months you put on like 10, 15 pounds of muscle,
Right.
you're like, damn, I did that shit. Nobody puts on shit. You feel like
Right.
I'm him. I'm him. So yeah, I agree with that. And one more thing, it builds testosterone and it helps your
Yes.
beard grow. I didn't know that, but it definitely like facial hair. So anybody that's like struggling with like the patchy whatever, it helps a
Definitely.
lot. Clears your skin up, all that good shit. Now, last one. How do you think men and women can be better allies?
Women need to stop drinking the feminist Kool-Aid. Stop thinking that you're just independent thing when you rely on men every day. You rely on men to just to drive the trucks that bring food to your supermarket, right? You depend on your male boss to mark off that you worked that day. You depend on men to power the generators that send electricity to your house. You depend on men to fix on your car. You depend on men to work on the plumbing. You depend on men to work on your AC units. You depend on men to work on the street lights outside. You depend on men for police protection. You depend on men for firefighting. You depend on men for military protection. So you depend on men in many different scenarios. Stop thinking that you're independent when if all these systems were to fall apart, you would be helpless, right? Stop drinking the feminist Kool-Aid. Stop listening. Oh, I can do it all on my own. It's okay to rely on somebody. It's okay to depend on somebody. Because if you keep alienating yourself as being this strong person, you're going to end up becoming the very man that you're seeking, and no man's going to want to be with you. And the only men that are going to want you are the weak ones. Because if you're strong, you attract the weak. And if you're weak, you attract the strong. That's how it is. It's yin and yang. So all those girls that want to be independent and strong, all I get are bums. Well, yeah, because you're a strong person. All you're going to generate is weak people. Lastly, stop going with what the media says about men. Stop downing anything that men do. Take into consideration what men have to say. Men are people just like you. And if you want to make this world a better place or an equal place or a more accepting place, instead of accepting other people who are affiliating with other groups, maybe you should accept your man and accept him for the differences in how he feels and what he likes.
Mm. I agree with that 100%. Stop
Yes.
drinking the feminist fucking Kool-Aid, man. Yeah. And for men, stop listening to the bullshit. Like, same thing for men. Like, stop drinking that shit. Stop accepting it. I know it's confusing, especially if you're like 14, 15 coming up and you're just kind of figuring out
Oh,
dating
yeah.
and how to court girls and the process. Don't listen to that bullshit, bro. It's going to confuse the fuck out of you.
Yep.
It's going to have you depressed, anxious, doubting yourself, thinking you're like doing something wrong. Just do what you do. Listen to your fathers. Listen to the men in your life, your brothers, your uncles. Don't listen to fucking girls on how to get girls or how to do anything that involves being a man at all. Do not listen, please.
That is a fact.
Okay. Yeah, so let's do a quick Q&A. I know this guy's been trying to get on here
Right.
like an hour and a half now. Adam, this guy's name is Ad. I don't know. Add something.
I'm not sure.
Add me as a. If he's still here. And if anybody has any questions in the chat, you can put it in the little question bubble right there. So it pops up. Still here. Okay.
Gotcha.
Let's keep it going until he
Gotcha.
pops up. Yes, yin and yang, the Chinese philosophy. So, exactly, that's so true. And everything in life bounces on yin and yang. Like, I read this book called An Interview with the Devil. And it talks about, kind of breaks down religion and science and shows how they're not really competing, but they're kind of explaining each other. And it breaks it down like the molecular level. It says everything's made of atoms. Atoms are positive and negative, so everything in life is based on this same principle. And whenever you have two positives, it's fucked up. Two negatives, it's fucked up.
It has to be, and people don't seem to want to accept that.
Mm-hmm. He says, what is the number one reason why women refuse to listen to
that goes just back to the feminist Kool-Aid, which says you don't need to listen to men. If you have a giant population of women, again, that's a sisterhood saying you don't need to listen to men, then that's going to translate or transmit to all women, and they're just not going to listen to us. Especially with us giving them money and attention without them having to listen to us anyway.
Yeah. I also think it's because they've been tricked into believing that submission is somehow like a form of slavery.
But then they still want men to provide, which is also a type of slavery.
Yeah, and it's so severe that I posted a clip of one of my old podcast episodes, and I realized these girls are arguing with me just because I'm a man saying it, not because I'm wrong. Like the topic was, what I say? I say a single mom has to work and take care of kids will take on more stress, taking on more masculine energy than a mom who's married and only has to worry about the kids in the home. And the girls were saying They were like, no, that's not true. They're both stressful. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but one is
Right.
twice as stressful than the other. They're like, no, it's not both stressful. I'm like, why do you keep saying that? Like, it's like you're
Right.
refusing to hear what
Right.
I'm saying just
Right.
because man's saying it. I think that's why they don't listen to men.
Well,
It's just because you're a man.
it's the
They
unfortunate
don't listen to
reality,
men.
bro. True. Yes, it's a custom mask.
he really had to know. Okay. Yeah. True Bay had a
Yeah,
question.
that
Oh,
was
that was
it.
your question? Okay. He really want to know that. Don't be afraid to be canceled, gentlemen. Keep the truth going. Now, I understand that. My shit got shut down once already, but I got it back. But they're definitely not monetizing me. They said the requirements are 100,000 views a month with, I
Yep,
think,
I'm not
6
monetized
posts
either,
and
brother. Welcome
like
to the
some.
non-monetization club.
Yeah, check all the boxes, but still nothing. I got an email like a week ago from Facebook inviting me to Reels, and I accepted it,
Yep,
but it's been in
yep.
review for
It's
whatever
gonna be
reason.
like that for a couple years, honestly. But I don't care because this is my passion, so it is what it is. People donate, and that's enough for me.
Yeah. I was thinking about different ways to monetize though, like ethical ways. Like the beard company that I use, a beard
Yeah,
club. I was looking for like an affiliate link with them.
affiliates,
I know a
Patreon,
lot of
all that stuff.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
What do you do on
I stopped. I
Patreon?
don't really use
Like, what's
Patreon much
the
anymore because now I have subscriptions on here on IG. But like,
okay?
basically, you can add tiers and make custom content and kind of provide a service outside of IG, and just do different things. Look into that.
Okay. Okay.
Mm.
So let's wrap it up. Gerard came today. Unfortunately, I guess he had something to do. We'll figure it out next time. But it's been hard, buddy. Boul, Black Spider Guy. If anybody has any questions, put in the chat in the next 10 seconds. If not, then we out.
Oh, Black Spider Guy,
Any
why
last
is Abby
words?
so playful sometimes? Abby is a white girl from Australia that likes black men. That's why. Mm.
Okay. That makes sense. Any final
Um,
thoughts?
Hey man, I appreciate you having me on the show. I appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule to make this happen. I really appreciate it. Shout out to everybody that's watching me. Please follow this guy. He's a great dude. He's got a cool podcast. But all in all, man, I'm just trying to help as many men and women that want to listen as possible.
True Bay said, "Do you ever think of selling your
Hell
mask
to
on
the
a
no.
worldwide scale?" I think it would.
It's
Really?
it's my
Why
face.
not?
Would you sell your face?
Yes.
You're funny. Nah, I wouldn't. Nah, there's some things I can't part with.
I feel you though. I feel that. But all right, y'all. Let's wrap this joint up. I'm about to shut down shop.
Adios.
See y'all later. Hard